These are the Proverbs of King Solomon of Israel, David's son. He wrote them to teach his people how to live, how to act in every circumstance, for he wanted them to be understanding, just and fair in everything they did. I want to make the simple-minded wise, he said. I want to warn young men about some problems they will face. I want those already wise to become wiser and become leaders by exploring the depths of meaning in these nuggets of truth. How does a man become wise? The first step is to trust and reverence the Lord. Only few fools refuse to be taught. Listen to your father and mother. What you learn from them will stand you instead. It will gain you many honors. If young toughs tell you, come and join us, turn your back on them. We'll hide and rob and kill, they say. Good or bad, we'll treat them all alike. And the loot will get all kinds of stuff. Come on, throw in your lot with us and we'll split with you in equal shares. Don't do it, son. Stay far from men like that. For crime is their way of life and murder is their specialty. When a bird sees a trap being set, it stays away. But not these men, they trap themselves. They lay a booby trap for their own lives. Such is the fate of all who live by violence and murder. They will die a violent death. Wisdom shouts in the streets for a hearing. She calls out to the crowds along Main Street and to the judges in their courts and to everyone in all the land. You simpleton, she cries. How long will you go on being fools? How long will you scoff at wisdom and fight the facts? Come here and listen to me. I'll pour out the spirit of wisdom upon you and make you wise. I've called you so often, but you still won't come. I've pleaded all in vain, for you have spurned my counsel and reproof. Someday you'll be in trouble and I'll laugh. Mock me, will you? I'll mock you. When a storm of terror surrounds you and when you are engulfed by anguish and distress, then I will not answer your cry for help. It will be too late, though you search for me ever so anxiously. For you close your eyes to the facts and did not choose to reverence and trust the Lord. And you turn your back on me, spurning my advice. That is why you must eat the bitter fruit of having your own way and experience the full terrors of the pathway you've chosen. For you've turned away from me to death. Your own complacency will kill you, fools. But all who listen to me shall live in peace and safety, unafraid. Proverbs chapter 2. Every young man who listens to me and obeys my instructions will be given wisdom and good sense. Yes, if you want better insight and discernment and are searching for them, as you would for lost money or hidden treasure, then wisdom will be given you and knowledge of God himself. You will soon learn the importance of reverence for the Lord and of trusting him. For the Lord grants wisdom. His every word is a treasure of knowledge and understanding. He grants good sense to the godly, his saints. He is their shield, protecting them and guarding their pathway. He shows how to distinguish right from wrong, how to find the right decision every time. For wisdom and truth will enter the very center of your being, filling your life with joy. You will be given the sense to stay away from evil men who want to be their partners in crime, men who turn from God's way to walk down dark and evil paths and result in doing wrong. For they thoroughly enjoy their sins. Everything they do is crooked and wrong. Only wisdom from the Lord can save a man from flattery of prostitutes. These girls have abandoned their husbands and flouted the laws of God. Their houses lie along the road to death and hell. The men who enter them are doomed. None of these men will ever be the same again. Follow the steps of the godly instead and stay on the right path. For only good men enjoy life to the full. Evil men lose the good things they have had, and they themselves shall be destroyed. Proverbs chapter 3. My son, never forget the things I've taught you. If you want a long and satisfying life, closely follow my instructions. Never tire of loyalty and kindness. Hold these virtues tightly. Write them deep within your heart. If you want favor with both God and man and a reputation for good judgment and common sense, then trust the Lord completely. Don't ever trust yourself. In everything you do, put God first, and he will direct you and crown your efforts with success. Don't be conceited, sure of your own wisdom. Instead, trust and reverence the Lord and turn your back on evil. When you do that, then you will be given renewed health and vitality. Honor the Lord by giving him the first part of all your income, and he will fill your barns with wheat and barley and overflow your wine vats with finest wines. Young man, do not resent it when God chastens and corrects you, for his punishment is proof of his love. Just as a father punishes a son, he delights in to make him better, so the Lord corrects you. The man who knows right from wrong and has good judgment and common sense is happier than the man who is immensely rich. For such wisdom is far more valuable than precious jewels. Nothing else compares with it. Wisdom gives a long, good life, riches, honor, pleasure, peace. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who eat her fruit. Happy is the man who keeps on eating it. The Lord's wisdom founded the earth. His understanding established all the universe and space. The deep fountains of the earth were broken up by his knowledge, and the skies poured down rain. Have two goals, wisdom, that is, knowing and doing right, and common sense. Don't let them slip away, for they fill you with living energy and bring you honor and respect. They keep you safe from defeat and disaster and from the stumbling off of the trail. With them on guard, you can sleep without fear. You need not be afraid of disaster or the plots of wicked men. For the Lord is with you. He protects you. Don't withhold repayment of your debts. Don't say some other time if you can pay now. Don't plot against your neighbor. He's trusting you. Don't get into needless fights. Don't envy violent men. Don't copy their ways. For such men are an abomination to the Lord, but he gives his friendship to the godly. The curse of God is on the wicked, but his blessing is on the upright. The Lord mocks at mockers, but helps the humble. The wise are promoted to honor, but fools are promoted to shame. Proverbs chapter 4. Young men, listen to me as you would to your father. Listen and grow wise, for I speak truth. Don't turn away. For I too was once a son, tenderly loved by my mother as an only child and the companion of my father. He told me never to forget his words. If you follow them, he said, you will have a long and happy life. Learn to be wise, he said, and develop good judgment and common sense. I cannot overemphasize this point. Cling to wisdom. She will protect you. Love her, and she will guard you. Getting wisdom is the most important thing you can do, and with your wisdom, develop common sense and good judgment. If you exalt wisdom, she will exalt you. Hold her fast, and she will lead you to great honor. She will place a beautiful crown upon your head. My son, listen to me, and do as I say, and you will have a long, good life. I would have you learn this great fact, that a life of doing right is the wisest life there is. If you live that kind of life, you'll not limp or stumble as you run. Carry out my instructions. Don't forget them, for they will lead you to real living. Don't do as the wicked do. Avoid their taunts. Turn away. Go somewhere else. For evil men can't sleep unless they've done their evil deed for the day. They can't rest unless they cause someone to stumble and fall. They eat and drink wickedness and violence. But the good man walks along in the ever-brightening light of God's favor. The dawn gives way to morning splendor, while the evil man gropes and stumbles in the dark. Listen, son of mine, to what I say. Listen carefully. Keep these thoughts ever in mind. Let them penetrate deep within your heart, for they will mean real life for you and radiant health. Above all else, guard your affections, for they influence everything else in your life. Spurn the careless kiss of a prostitute. Stay far from her. Look straight ahead. Don't even turn your head to look. Watch your steps. Stick to the path and be safe. Don't sidetrack. Pull back your foot from danger. Proverbs chapter 5. Listen to me, my son. I know what I'm saying. Listen, watch yourself, lest you be indiscreet and betray some vital information. For the lips of a prostitute are as sweet as honey, and smooth flattery is her stock in trade. But afterwards, only a bitter conscience is left to you, sharp as a double-edged sword. She leads you down to death and hell, for she does not know the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't even realize where it leads. Young men, listen to me and never forget what I'm about to say. Run from her. Don't get near her house, lest you fall to her temptation and lose your honor and give the remainder of your life to the cruel and merciless. Lest strangers obtain your wealth and you become a slave of foreigners. Lest afterwards you groan in anguish and in shame when syphilis consumes your body. And you say, oh, only if I had listened, if only I had not demanded my own way. Oh, why wouldn't I take advice? Why was I so stupid? For now I must face public disgrace. Drink from your own well, my son. Be faithful and true to your wife. Why should you beget children with women of the street? Why share children with those outside your home? Be happy. Yes, rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her breast and tender embrace satisfy you. Let her love alone fill you with delight. Why delight yourself with prostitutes, embracing what isn't yours? For God is closely watching you, and he weighs carefully everything you do. The wicked man is doomed by his own sins. They are ropes that catch and hold him. He shall die because he will not listen to the truth. He has let himself be led away into incredible folly. Proverbs 6. Son, if you endorse an oath for someone you hardly know guaranteeing his debt, you are in serious trouble. You may have trapped yourself by your agreement. Quit. Get out of it as soon as you possibly can. Swallow your pride. Don't let embarrassment stand in the way. Go and beg to have your name erased. Don't put it off. Do it now. Don't rest until you do. If you can get out of the trap, you have saved yourself like a deer that escapes from a hunter or a bird from the net. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy fellow. Learn from their ways and be wise. For though they have no king to make them work, yet they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, all you do is sleep. When will you wake up? Let me sleep a little longer, sure, just a little more. And as you sleep, poverty creeps upon you like a robber and destroys you. Want attacks you in full armor. Let me describe for you a worthless and a wicked man. First, he's a constant liar. He signals his intentions to his friends with eyes and feet and fingers. He's always thinking up new schemes to swindle people. He stirs up trouble everywhere. But he will be destroyed suddenly, broken beyond hope of healing. For there are 6 things the Lord hates. No, 7. Haughtiness, lying, murder, plotting evil, eagerness to do wrong, a false witness, sowing discord among brothers. Young man, obey your father and your mother. Take to heart all their advice. Keep in mind everything they tell you. Every day and all night, long their counsel will lead you and save you from harm. When you wake up in the morning, let your instructions guide you into the new day. For their advice is a beam of light directed into the dark corners of your mind to warn you of the danger and to give you a good life. Their counsel will keep you far away from prostitutes with all their flatteries and unfaithful wives of other men. Don't lust for their beauty. Don't let their coyness seduce you. For a prostitute will bring a man to poverty, and an adulteress may cost him his very life. Can a man hold fire in his chest and not be burned? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with a man who commits adultery with another man's wife. He shall not go unpunished for his sin. Excuses might even be found for a thief if he steals when he is starving. But even so, he is fined 7 times as much as he stole, though it may mean selling everything in his house to pay it back. But the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys his own soul. Wounds and constant disgrace are his lot, for the woman's husband will be furious in his jealousy, and he will have no mercy on you in the day of his vengeance. You won't be able to buy him off no matter what you offer. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1. Follow my advice, my son. Always keep it in mind and stick to it. Obey me and live. Guard my words as your most precious possession. Write them down and also keep them deep within your heart. Love wisdom like a sweetheart. Make her a beloved member of your family. Let her hold you back from affairs with other women, from listening to their flattery. I was looking out the window of my house one day and I saw a simple-minded lad, a young man lacking common sense, walking at twilight down the street to the house of the wayward girl, a prostitute. She approached him, saucy and pert and dressed seductively. She was the brash, coarse type, seen often in the streets and markets, soliciting in every corner for men to be her lovers. She put her arms around him and kissed him, and with a saucy look, she said, I was just coming to look for you, and here you are. Come home with me, and I'll fix you a wonderful dinner. And after that, well, my bed is spread with lovely colored sheets of finest linen imported from Egypt, perfumed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come on, let's take our fill of love until morning, for my husband is away on a long trip. He has taken a wallet full of money with him and won't return for several days. So she seduced him with her pretty speech, her coaxing, and her wheedling until he yielded to her. He couldn't resist her flattery. He followed her as an ox going to the butcher and as a stag that is trapped, waiting to be killed with an arrow through its heart. He was as a bird to a snare, not knowing the fate awaiting it there. Listen to me, young men, and not only listen, but obey. Don't let your desires get out of hand. Don't let yourself think about her. Don't go near her. Stay away from where she walks, lest she tempt you and seduce you. For she has been the ruin of multitudes. A vast host of men have been her victims. If you want to find the road to hell, look for her house. Proverbs chapter 8. Can't you hear the voice of wisdom? She's standing at the city gates and at every fork in the road and at the door of every house. Listen to what she says. Listen, men, she calls. How foolish and naive you are. Let me give you understanding, O foolish ones. Let me show you common sense. Listen to me, for I have important information for you. Everything I say is right and true, for I hate lies and every kind of deception. My advice is wholesome and good. There is nothing of evil in it. My words are plain and clear to anyone with half of a mind. If it's only open, my instruction is far more valuable than silver and gold. For the value of wisdom is far above rubies. Nothing can be compared to it. Wisdom and good judgment live together, for wisdom knows where to discover knowledge and understanding. If anyone respects and fears God, he will hate evil. For wisdom hates pride, arrogance, corruption, and deceit of every kind. I, wisdom, give good advice and common sense. Because of my strength, kings reign in power, and rulers make just laws. I love all who love me. Those who search for me shall surely find me. Unending riches, honor, justice, and righteousness are mine to distribute. My gifts are better than the purest gold or sterling silver. My paths are those of justice and right. Those who love and follow me are indeed wealthy. I fill their treasures. The Lord formed me in the beginning before he created anything else. From ages past, I am. I existed before the earth began. I lived before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters onto the earth, before the mountains and the hills were made. Yes, I was born before God made the earth and fields and the first handfuls of soil. I was there when he established the heavens and formed the great springs in the depths of the ocean. I was there when he set the limits of the seas and gave them his instructions not to spread beyond their boundaries. I was there when he made the blueprint for the earth and oceans. I was a craftsman at his side. I was his constant delight, rejoicing always in his presence, and how happy I was with what he created, his wide world and all the family of mankind. And so, young men, listen to me, for how happy are those who follow my instructions. Listen to my counsel. Oh, don't refuse it, and be wise. Happy is the man who is so anxious to be with me that he walks daily at my gates or waits for me outside my home. For whoever finds me finds life and wins approval from the Lord. But the one who misses me has injured himself irreparably. Those who refuse me show that they love death. Proverbs chapter 9. Wisdom has built a palace supported on 7 pillars and has prepared a great banquet and mixed the wines and sent out her maidens, inviting all to come. She calls from the busiest intersections in the city. Come, you simple ones without good judgment. Come to wisdom's banquet and drink the wines that I've mixed. Leave behind your foolishness and begin to live. Learn how to be wise. If you rebuke a mocker, you will only get a smart retort. Yes, he will snarl at you, so don't bother him. People only hate you for trying to help him. But a wise man, when rebuked, will love you all the more. Teach a wise man, and he will be the wiser. Teach a good man, and he will learn more. For the reverence and fear of God are basic to all wisdom. Knowing God results in every other kind of understanding. High wisdom will make the hours of your day more profitable and the years of your life more fruitful. Wisdom is its own reward, and if you scorn her, you only hurt yourself. A prostitute is loud and brash and never has enough of lust and shame. She sits at the door of her house or stands at the street corners of the city, whispering to men going by and to those minding their own business. Come on with me, she urges simpletons. Stolen melons are the sweetest. Stolen apples taste the best. But they don't realize that her former guests are now citizens of hell. Proverbs chapter 10. Happy is the man with a level-headed son. Sad the mother of a rebel. Ill-gotten gain brings no lasting happiness. Right living does. The Lord will not let a good man starve to death, nor will he let the wicked man's riches continue forever. Lazy men are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. A wise youth makes hay while the sun shines, but what a shame to see a lad who sleeps away his hour of opportunity. The good man is covered with blessings from head to foot, but an evil man inwardly curses his luck. We all have happy memories of good men gone to their reward, but the names of wicked men stink after them. The wise man is glad to be instructed, but a self-sufficient fool falls flat on his face. A good man has firm footing, but a crook will slip and fall. Winking at sin leads to sorrow. Bold reproof leads to peace. There is living truth in what a good man says, but the mouth of the evil man is filled with curses. Hatred stirs old quarrels, but love overlooks insults. Men with common sense are admired as counselors. Those without it are beaten as servants. A wise man holds his tongue. Only a fool blurts out everything he knows. That only leads to sorrow and trouble. The rich man's wealth is his only strength. The poor man's poverty is his only curse. The good man's earnings advance the cause of righteousness. The evil man squanders his own sin. Anyone willing to be corrected is on the pathway to light. Anyone refusing has lost his chance. To hide hatred is to be a liar. To slander is to be a fool. Don't much, you keep putting your foot in your mouth. Be sensible and turn off the flow. When a good man speaks, he's worth listening to, but the words of fools are a dime a dozen. A godly man gives good advice, but a rebel is destroyed by lack of common sense. The Lord's blessing is our greatest wealth. All our works adds nothing to it. A fool's fun is being bad. A wise man's fun is being wise. The wicked man's fears will all come true, and so will the good man's hopes. Disaster strikes like a cyclone, and the wicked are whirled away, but the good man has a strong anchor. A lazy fellow is a pain to his employers, like smoke in their eyes or vinegar that sets the teeth on edge. Reverence for God adds hours to each day, so how can the wicked expect a long, good life? The hope of good men is eternal happiness. The hope of evil men are all in vain. God protects the upright, but destroys the wicked. The good shall never lose God's blessings, but the wicked shall lose everything. The good man gives wise advice, but the liar's counsel is shunned. The upright speak what is helpful. The wicked speak rebellion. Proverbs chapter 11. The Lord hates cheating and delights in honesty. Proud men end in shame, but the meek become wise. A good man is guided by his honesty. The evil man is destroyed by his dishonesty. Your riches won't help you on judgment day. Only righteousness counts then. Good people are directed by their honesty. The wicked shall fall beneath their loads of sin. The good man's goodness delivers him. The evil man's treachery is his undoing. When an evil man dies, his hopes all perish, for they are based upon this earthly life. God rescues good men from danger while letting the wicked fall into it. Evil words destroy. Godly skills rebuilds. The whole city celebrates a good man's success and also the godless man's death. The good influence of a godly citizen causes a city to prosper, but the moral decay of the wicked drives it downhill. To quarrel with a neighbor is foolish. A man with good sense holds his tongue. A gossip goes around spreading rumors while a trustworthy man tries to keep quiet. Without wise leadership, a nation is in trouble, but with good counselors, there's safety. Be sure you know a person well before you vouch for his credit. Better refuse than suffer later. Honor goes to the kind and gracious women, mere money to cruel men. Your own soul is nourished when you are kind. It's destroyed when you are cruel. The evil man gets rich for the moment, but the good man's reward lasts forever. The good man finds life, the evil man death. The Lord hates the stubborn, but delights in those who are good. You can be very You can be very sure the evil man will not go unpunished forever. And you can also be very sure that God will rescue the children of the godly. Beautiful woman lacking discretion and modesty is like fine gold in a pig's snout. The good man can look forward to happiness, while the wicked can expect only wrath. It is possible to give away and become richer. It is also possible to hold on too tightly and lose everything. Yes, the liberal man shall be rich. By watering others, he waters himself. People curse the man who holds his grain for higher prices, but they bless the man who sells it to them in their time of need. If you search for good, you will find God's favor. If you search for evil, you will find his curse. Trust in your money and down you go. Trust in God and flourish as a tree. The fool who provokes his family to anger and resentment will finally have nothing worthwhile left. He shall be the servant of a wiser man. Godly men are growing a tree that bears life-giving fruit, and all who win souls are wise. Even the godly shall be rewarded here on earth. How much more the wicked? Proverbs chapter 12. To learn, you must want to be taught. To refuse reproof is stupid. The Lord blesses good men and condemns the wicked. Wickedness never brings real success. Only the godly have that. A worthy wife is her husband's joy and crown. The other kind corrodes his strength and tears down everything he does. A good man's mind is filled with honest thoughts. An evil man's mind is crammed with lies. The wicked accuse, the godly defend. The wicked shall perish, the godly shall stand. Everyone admires a man with good sense, but a man with a warped mind is despised. It is better to get your hands dirty and eat than to be too proud to work and starve. A good man is concerned for the welfare of his animals, but even the kindness of godless men is cruel. Hard work means prosperity. Only a fool idles away his time. Crooks are jealous of each other's loot, while good men long to help each other. Lies will get any man into trouble, but honesty is its own defense. Telling the truth gives a man great satisfaction, and hard work returns many blessings to him. A fool thinks he needs no advice, but a wise man listens to others. A fool is quick-tempered. A wise man stays cool when insulted. A good man is known by his truthfulness, a false man by deceit and lies. Some people like to make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise soothe and heal. Truth stands the test of time. Lies are soon exposed. Deceit fills hearts that are plotting for evil. Joy fills hearts that are planning for good. No real harm befalls the good, but there is constant trouble for the wicked. God delights in those who keep their promises and abhors those who don't. A wise man doesn't display his knowledge, but a fool displays his foolishness. Work hard and become a leader. Be lazy and never succeed. Anxious hearts are very heavy, but a word of encouragement does wonders. The good man asks advice from friends. The wicked plunge ahead and fall. A lazy man won't even dress the game he gets while hunting, but the diligent man makes good use of everything he finds. The path of the godly leads to life, so why fear death? Proverbs chapter 13. A wise youth accepts his father's rebuke. A young mocker doesn't. The good man wins his case by careful argument. The evil-minded only wants to fight. Self-control means controlling the tongue. A quick retort can ruin everything. Lazy people want much but get little, while the diligent are prospering. A good man hates lies. Wicked men lie constantly and come to shame. A man's goodness helps him all through life, while evil men are being destroyed by their wickedness. Some rich people are poor, and some poor people have great wealth. Being kidnapped and held for ransom never worries the poor man. The good man's life is full of light. The sinner's road is dark and gloomy. Pride leads to arguments. Be humble and take advice and become wise. Wealth from gambling quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when dreams come true at last, there is life and joy. Despise God's word and find yourself in trouble. Obey it and succeed. The advice of a wise man refreshes like water from a mountain spring. Those accepting it become aware of the pitfalls on ahead. A man with good sense is appreciated. A treacherous man must walk a rocky road. A wise man thinks ahead. A fool doesn't and even brags about it. An unreliable messenger can cause a lot of trouble. Reliable communication permits progress. If you refuse criticism, you will end up in poverty and disgrace. If you accept criticism, you are on the road to fame. It is pleasant to see plans develop. That is why fools refuse to give them up even when they are wrong. Be with wise men and become wise. Be with evil men and become evil. Curses chase sinners while blessings chase the righteous. When a good man dies, he leaves an inheritance to his grandchildren. But when a sinner dies, his wealth is stored up for the godly. A poor man's farm may have good soil, but injustice robs him of his riches. If you refuse to discipline your son, it proves you don't love him. For if you love him, you will be prompt to punish him. The good man eats to live, while the evil man lives to eat. Proverbs chapter 14. A wise woman builds her house while a foolish woman tears hers down by her own efforts. To do right honors God. To sin is to despise him. A rebel's foolish talk should prick his own pride, but the wise man's speech is respected. An empty stable stays clean, but there's no income from an empty stable. A truthful witness never lies. A false witness always lies. A mocker never finds the wisdom he claims he is looking for, yet it comes easily to the man with common sense. If you're looking for advice, stay away from fools. The wise man looks ahead. The fool attempts to fool himself and won't face facts. The common bond of rebels is their guilt. The common bond of godly people is goodwill. Only the person involved can know his own bitterness or joy. No one else can really share it. The work of the wicked will perish. The work of the godly will flourish. Before every man there lies a wide and pleasant road that seems right but ends in death. Laughter cannot mask a heavy heart. When the laughter ends, the grief remains. The backslider gets bored with himself. A godly man's life is exciting. Only a simpleton believes everything he's told. A prudent man understands the need for proof. A wise man is cautious and avoids danger. A fool plunges ahead with great confidence. A short-tempered man is a fool. He hates the man who is patient. The simpleton is crowned with folly. The wise is crowned with knowledge. Evil men shall bow before the godly. Even to his neighbors, even his own neighbors despise the poor man, while the rich man has many friends. But to despise the poor is sin. Blessed are those who help him. Those who plot evil shall wander away and be lost, but those who plan good shall be granted mercy and quietness. Work brings profit. Talk brings poverty. Wise men are praised for their wisdom. Fools are despised for their folly. A witness who tells the truth saves good men from being sentenced to death, but a false witness is a traitor. Reverence for God gives a man deep strength, a place of refuge and security. Reverence for the Lord is a fountain of life. Its waters keep a man from death. A growing population is a king's glory. A dwindling nation is his doom. A wise man controls his temper. He knows that anger causes mistakes. A relaxed attitude lengthens a man's life. Jealousy rots it away. Anyone who oppresses the poor is insulting God who made them. To help the poor is to honor God. The godly have a refuge when they die, but the wicked are crushed by their sins. Wisdom is enshrined in the hearts of men of common sense, but it must shout loudly before fools will hear it. Godliness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. A king rejoices in servants who know what they are doing. He is angry with those who cause trouble. Proverbs chapter 15. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words cause quarrels. A wise teacher makes learning a joy. A rebellious teacher spouts foolishness. The Lord is watching everywhere and keeps his eye on both the evil and the good. Gentle words cause life and health. Griping brings discouragement. Only a fool despises his father's advice. A wise son considers each suggestion. There's treasure in being good, but trouble dogs the wicked. Only the good can give good advice. Rebels can't. The Lord hates the gifts of the wicked, but delights in the prayers of his people. The Lord despises the deeds of the wicked, but loves those who try to do good. If they stop trying, the Lord will punish them. If they rebel against that punishment, they will die. The depths of hell are open to God's knowledge. How much more the hearts of all mankind? A mocker stays away from wise men because he hates to be scolded. A happy face means a glad heart. A sad face means a breaking heart. A wise man is hungry for truth, while the mocker feeds on trash. When a man is gloomy, everything seems to go wrong. When he is cheerful, everything seems right. Better a little with reverence for God than great treasure and trouble with it. It is better to eat soup with someone you love than steak with someone you hate. A quick-tempered man starts fights. A cool-tempered man tries to stop them. A lazy fellow has trouble all through life. The good man's path is easy. A sensible son gladdens his father. A rebellious son saddens his mother. If a man enjoys folly, something is wrong. The sensible stay on the pathway of right. Plans go wrong with too few counselors. Many counselors bring success. Everyone enjoys giving good advice, and how wonderful it is to be able to say the right thing at the right time. The road of the godly leads upward, leaving hell behind. The Lord destroys the possession of the proud, but cares for the widows. The Lord hates the thoughts of the wicked, but delights in kind words. Dishonest money brings grief to all the family, but hating bribes brings happiness. A good man thinks before he speaks. The evil man pours out his evil words without a thought. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayers of the righteous. Pleasant sights and good reports give happiness and health. If you profit from constructive criticism, you will be elected to the wise men's hall of fame. But to reject criticism is to harm yourself in your own interest. Humility and reverence for the Lord will make you both wise and honored. Proverbs chapter 16. We can make our plans, but the final outcome is in God's hands. We can always prove that we are right, but is the Lord convinced? Commit your work to the Lord, then it will succeed. The Lord has made everything for his own purpose, even the wicked for punishment. Pride disgusts the Lord. Take my word for it. Proud men shall be punished. Iniquity is atoned for by mercy. Evil is avoided by the reverence for God. When a man is trying to please God, God makes even his worst enemies to be at peace with him. A little gain honesty is better than great wealth gotten by dishonest means. We should make plans, counting on God to direct us. God will help the king to judge the people fairly. There need be no mistakes. The Lord demands fairness in every business deal. He established this principle. It is a horrible thing for a king to be evil. His right to rule depends upon fairness. The king rejoices when his people are truthful and fair. The anger of the king is a messenger of death, and a wise man will appease it. Many favors are showered on those who please the king. How much better is wisdom than gold, and understanding than silver? The path of the godly leads away from evil. He who follows that path is saved. Pride goes before destruction, and haughtiness before a fall. Better poor and humble than proud and rich. God blesses those who obey him. Happy the man who puts his trust in the Lord. The wise man is known by his common sense, and a pleasant teacher is the best. Wisdom is a fountain of life to those possessing it, but a fool's burden is his folly. From a wise mind comes careful and persuasive speech. Kind words are like honey, enjoyable and healthful. Before every man there lies a wide and pleasant road he thinks is right, but it ends in death. Hunger is good if it makes you work to satisfy it. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Idle lips are his mouthpiece. An evil man sows strife. Gossip separates the best of friends. Wickedness loves company and leads others to sin. The wicked man stares into space with pursed lips, deep in thought, planning his evil deeds. White hair is a crown of glory and is seen most among the godly. It is better to be slow-tempered than famous. It is better to have self-control than to control an army. We toss the coin, but it is the Lord who controls its decision. Proverbs 17. A dry crust eaten in peace is better than steak every day, along with argument and strife. A wise slave will rule his master's wicked sons and share their estate. Silver and gold are purified by fire, but God purifies the hearts. The wicked enjoy fellowship with others who are wicked. Liars enjoy liars. Mocking the poor is mocking the God who made them. He will punish those who rejoice at others' misfortunes. An old man's grandchildren are his crown and glory. A child's glory is his father. Truth from a rebel or lies from a king are both unexpected. A bribe works like magic. Whoever uses it will prosper. Love forgets mistakes. Nagging about them parts the best sense. A rebuke to a man of common sense is more effective than 100 lashes on the back of a rebel. The wicked live for rebellion. They shall be severely punished. It is safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool caught in his folly. If you repay evil for good, a curse is upon your home. It is hard to stop a quarrel once it starts, so don't let it begin. It's as though those who say that bad is good and good is bad. It is senseless to pay tuition to educate a rebel who has no heart for truth. Is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in time of need. It is poor judgment to countersign another's note to become responsible for his debts. Sinners love to fight. Boasting is looking for trouble. An evil man is suspicious of everyone and tumbles into constant trouble. It's no fun to be a rebel's father. A cheerful heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit makes one sick. It is wrong to accept a bribe to twist justice. Wisdom is the main pursuit of sensible men, but a fool's goals are at the ends of the earth. A rebellious son is grief to his father and a bitter blow to his mother. How short-sighted to find the godly are being good and to punish nobles for being honest. The man of few words and settled mind is wise. Therefore, even as a fool is thought to be wise when he is silent, it pays him to keep his mouth shut. Proverbs chapter 18. The selfish man quarrels against every sound principle of conduct by demanding his own way. A rebel doesn't care about the facts. All he wants to do is yell. Sin brings disgrace. A wise man's words express deep streams of thought. It is wrong for a judge to favor the wicked and condemn the innocent. A fool gets into constant fights. His mouth is his undoing. His words endanger him. What dainty morsel rumors are. They are eaten with great relish. A lazy man is brother to the saboteur. The Lord is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe. The rich man thinks of his wealth as an impregnable defense, a high wall of safety. What a dreamer. Pride ends in destruction. Humility ends in honor. What a shame. Yes, how stupid to decide before knowing the facts. A man's courage can sustain his broken body, but when his courage dies, what hope is left? The intelligent man is always open to new ideas. In fact, he looks for them. A gift does wonders. It will bring you before men of importance. Any story sounds true until someone tells the other side and sets the record straight. A coin toss ends argument and settles disputes between powerful opponents. It is harder to win back the friendship of an offended brother than to capture a fortified city. His anger shuts you out like iron bars. Ability to give wise advice satisfies like a good meal. Those who love to talk will suffer the consequences. Men have died for saying the wrong thing. The man who finds a wife finds a good thing. She is a blessing to him from the Lord. The poor man pleads and the rich man answers with insults. There are friends who pretend to be friends, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Proverbs 19. Better to be poor and honest than rich and dishonest. It is dangerous and sinful to rush into the unknown. A man may ruin his chances by his own foolishness and then blame it on the Lord. A wealthy man has many friends. The poor man has none left. Punish false witnesses. Track down liars. Many beg favors from a man who is generous. Everyone is his friend. Poor man's own brothers turn away from him in embarrassment. How much more his friends? He calls after them, but they are gone. He who loves wisdom loves his own best interest and will be a success. A false witness will be punished, and a liar shall be caught. It doesn't seem right for a fool to succeed or for a slave to rule over princes. A wise man restrains his anger and overlooks insults. This is to his credit. The king's anger is as dangerous as a lion's, but his approval is as refreshing as the dew on the grass. A rebellious son is as a calamity to his father, and a nagging wife a noise like constant dripping. A father can give his son homes and riches, but only the Lord can give them understanding wives. A lazy man sleeps soundly and he goes hungry. Keep the commandments and keep your life. Despising them means death. When you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, and he pays wonderful interest on your loan. Discipline your son in his early years while there's hope. If you don't, you will ruin his life. A short-tempered man must bear his own penalty. You can't do much to help him. If you try once, you must try a dozen times. Get all the advice you can and be wise the rest of your life. Man prospers, but God disposes. Kindness makes a man attractive, and it is better to be poor than dishonest. Reverence for God gives life, happiness, and protection from harm. Some men are so lazy they won't even feed themselves. Punish a mocker, and others will learn from his example. Reprove a wise man, and he will be the wiser. A son who mistreats his father and mother is a public disgrace. Stop listening to teaching that contradicts what you know is right. A worthless witness cares nothing for the truth. He enjoys sinning too much. Mockers and rebels shall be severely punished. Proverbs chapter 20. Wine gives false courage. Hard liquor leads to brawls. What fools men are to let it master them, making them reel drunkenly down the street. The king's fury is like that of a roaring lion. To rouse his anger is to risk your life. It is an honor for a man to stay out of a fight. Only fools insist on quarreling. If you won't plow in the cold, you won't eat in the harvest. Though good advice lies deep within a counselor's heart, the wise man will draw it out. Most people will tell you what loyal friends they are, but are they telling the truth? It is a wonderful heritage to have an honest father. A king sitting as judge weighs all the evidence carefully, distinguishing the true from the false. Who can ever say, I've cleansed my hands, I'm sinless, my heart rather, I'm sinless. The Lord despises every kind of cheating. The character even of a child can be known by the way he acts, whether he does what is pure and right. If you have good eyesight and good hearing, thank God who gave them to you. If you love sleep, you will end in poverty. Stay awake, work hard, and there will be plenty to eat. Utterly worthless, says the buyer as he haggles over the price, but afterwards he brags about his bargain. Good sense is far more valuable than gold or precious jewels. It is risky to make loans to strangers. Some men enjoy cheating, but the cake they buy with such ill-gotten gain will turn to gravel in their mouths. Don't go ahead with your plans without the advice of others. Don't go to war until they agree. Don't tell your secrets to a gossip unless you want them to broadcast it to the world. God puts out the light of the man who curses his father and mother. Quick wealth is not a blessing in the end. Don't repay evil. Wait for the Lord to handle the matter. The Lord loathes cheating and dishonesty. Since the Lord is directing our steps, why try to understand everything that happens along the way? It is foolish and rash to make a promise to the Lord before counting the cost. A wise king stamps out crime by severe punishment. A man's conscience is the Lord's searchlight, exposing his hidden motives. If a king is kind, honest, and fair, his kingdom stands secure. The glory of young men is their strength, of old men their experience. Punishment that hurts chases evil from the heart. Proverbs chapter 21. Just as water is turned into irrigation ditches, so the Lord directs the king's thoughts. He turns them wherever he wants. We can justify every deed, but God looks at our motives. God is more pleased when we are just and fair than when we give him gifts. Pride, lust, and evil actions are full of sin. Steady plodding brings prosperity. Steady plodding brings prosperity. Hasty speculation brings poverty. Dishonest gain will never last, so why take the risk? Because the wicked are unfair, their violence boomerangs and destroys them. A man is known by his actions. An evil man lives an evil life. A good man lives a godly life. It is better to live in the corner of an attic than with a crabby woman in a lovely home. An evil man loves to harm others. Being a good neighbor is out of his line. The wise man learns by listening. The simpleton can learn only by seeing scorners punished. God, the righteous one, knows what is going on in the homes of the wicked and will bring the wicked to judgment. He who shuts his ears to the cries of the poor will be ignored in his own time of need. An angry man is silenced by giving him a gift. A good man loves justice, but is a calamity to evildoers. The man who strays from common sense will end up dead. A man who loves pleasure becomes poor. Wine and luxury are not the way to riches. The wicked will finally lose. The righteous will finally win. Better to live in the desert than with a quarrelsome, complaining woman. The wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. The man who tries to be good, loving, and kind finds life, righteousness, and honor. The wise man conquers a strong man and levels his defenses. Keep your mouth closed and you'll stay out of trouble. Mockers are proud, haughty, and arrogant. The lazy man longs for many things, but his hands refuse to work. He is greedy to get while the godly live to give. God loathes the gifts of evil men, especially if they're trying to bribe him. No one believes a liar, but everyone respects the words of an honest man. An evil man is stubborn, but a godly man will reconsider. No one, regardless of how shrewd or well-advised he is, can stand against the Lord. Go ahead and prepare for the conflict, but victory comes from God. Proverbs chapter 22. If you must choose, take a good name rather than great riches, for to be held in loving esteem is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor are alike before the Lord who made them all. A prudent man foresees the difficulties ahead and prepares for them. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. True humility and respect for the Lord leads a man to riches, honor, and long life. The rebel walks a thorny, treacherous road. The man who values the soul will stay away. Teach a child to choose the right path. When he is older, he will remain upon it. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender. The unjust tyrant will reap disaster, and his reign of terror shall end. Happy is the generous man, the one who feeds the poor. Throw out the mocker, and you will rid of tension, fighting, and quarrels. He who values grace and truth is the king's friend. The Lord preserves the upright, but ruins the plans of the wicked. The lazy man is full of excuses. He says, if I go outside, I might meet a lion in the street and be killed. A prostitute is a dangerous trap. Those cursed of God are caught in it. A youngster's heart is filled with rebellion, but punishment will drive it out of him. He who gains by oppressing the poor, bribing the rich, shall end in poverty. Listen to this wise advice. Follow it closely, for it will do you good, and you can pass it on to others. Trust in the Lord. In the past, haven't I been right? Then believe what I'm telling you now and share it with others. Don't rob the poor and the sick, for the Lord is their defender. If you injure them, he will punish you. Keep away from angry, short-tempered men, lest you learn to be like them and endanger your own soul. Unless you have an extra cash on hand, don't countersign a note. Why risk everything you own? They'll even take your bed. Do not move the ancient boundary marks. That is stealing. Do you know a hardworking man? He will be successful and stand before kings. Proverbs 23. When dining with a rich man, be on your guard and don't stuff yourself, though it all tastes so good, for he's trying to bribe you, and no good is going to come out of his invitation. Don't worry yourself trying to get rich. Why waste your time? For riches can disappear as though they had the wings of a bird. Don't associate with evil men. Don't long for their favors and gifts. Their kindness is a trick. They want to use you as their pawn. The delicious food they serve will sour in your stomach, and you will vomit it and take you back your words of appreciation for their kindness. Don't waste your breath on a rebel. He will despise the wisest advice. Don't steal the land of the defenseless orphans by moving their ancient boundary, for their Redeemer is strong. He himself will accuse you. Don't refuse to accept criticism. Get all the help you can. Don't fail to correct your children. Discipline won't hurt them. They won't die if you use a stick on them. Punishment will keep them out of hell. My son, how I rejoice if you become a man of common sense. Yes, my heart will thrill at your thoughtful, wise words. Don't envy evil men, but continue to reverence the Lord all the time. For surely you have a wonderful future ahead of you. There is hope for you yet. Oh, my son, be wise and stay in God's paths. Don't carouse with drunkards and gluttons, for they are on their way to poverty. And remember that too much sleep clothes a man with rags. Listen to your father's advice and don't despise an old mother's experience. Get the facts at any price and hold on tightly to all the good sense you can get. The father of a godly man has cause for joy. What a pleasure a wise son is. So give your parents joy. Oh, my son, trust my advice. Stay away from prostitutes, for a prostitute is a deep and narrow grave. Like a robber, she waits for her victims as one after another become unfaithful to their wives. Whose heart is filled with anguish and sorrow? Who is always fighting and quarreling? Who is the man with bloodshot eyes and many wounds? It is the one who spends long hours in the taverns trying out new mixtures. Don't let the sparkle and smooth taste of strong wine deceive you, for in the end it bites like a poisonous serpent. It stings like an adder. You will see hallucinations and have delirium tremens, and you will say foolish, silly things that would embarrass you no end when sober. You will stagger like a sailor tossed at sea, clinging to a swaying mast. And afterwards you will say, I didn't even know when they beat me up. Let's go and have another drink. Proverbs 24. Don't envy godless men. Don't even enjoy their company, for they spend their days plotting violence and cheating. Any enterprise is built by wise planning, becomes strong through common sense, and profits wonderfully by keeping abreast of the facts. A wise man is mightier than a strong man. Wisdom is mightier than strength. Don't go to war without wise. There's safety in many counselors. Wisdom is too much for a rebel. He is not chosen. He'll not be chosen as a counselor. To plan evil is as wrong as doing it. The rebel's schemes are sinful, and the mocker is the scourge of all mankind. You're a poor specimen if you can't stand the pressure of adversity. Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to death. Don't stand back and let them die. Don't try to disclaim responsibility by saying you didn't know about it. For God, who knows all hearts, knows yours, and he knows you knew, and he will reward everyone according to his deeds. My son, honey whets the appetite, and so does wisdom. When you become wise, there's hope for you. A bright future lies ahead. An evil man, leave the upright man alone and quit trying to cheat him out of his rights. Don't you know that this is a good man? Though you trip him up 7 times, will each time rise again? But one calamity is enough to lay you low. Do not rejoice when your enemy meets trouble. Let there be no gladness when he falls, for the Lord may be displeased with you and stop punishing him. Don't envy the wicked. Don't covet his riches, for the evil man has no future. His light will be snuffed out. My son, watch your step before the Lord and the king, and don't associate with radicals, for you will go down with them to sudden disaster, and who knows where it will end. It is wrong to sentence the poor and let the rich go free. He who says to the wicked, you're innocent, shall be cursed by many people of the nations, but blessing will be showered on those who rebuke sin fearlessly. It is an honor to receive a frank reply. Develop your business first before building your house. Don't testify spitefully against an innocent neighbor. Why lie about him? Don't say, now I can pay him back for all his meanness to me. I walked by the field of a certain lazy fellow and saw that it was overgrown with thorns, and it was covered with weeds, and its walls were broken down. Then as I looked, I learned this lesson. A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest means that poverty will break in upon you suddenly like a robber and violently like a bandit. Proverbs chapter 25. These Proverbs of Solomon were discovered and copied by the aides of King Hezekiah of Judah. It is God's privilege to conceal things and the king's privilege to discover and invent. You cannot understand the height of heaven, the size of the earth, or all that goes into the king's mind. When you remove dross from silver, you have sterling ready for the silversmith. When you remove corrupt men from the king's court, his reign will be just and fair. Don't demand an audience with the king as though you were some powerful prince. It's better to wait for an invitation rather than to be sent back to the end of the line, publicly disgraced. Don't be hot-headed and rush to court. You may start something you can't finish and go down before your neighbor in shameful defeat. So discuss the matter with him privately. Don't tell anyone else, lest he accuse you of slander and you can't withdraw what you said. Timely advice is as lovely as gold apples in a silver basket. It is a badge of honor to accept valid criticism. A faithful employee is as refreshing as a cool day in the hot summertime. One who doesn't give the gift he promised is like a cloud blowing over a desert without dropping any rain. Be patient and you will finally win, for a soft tongue can break hard bones. Do you like honey? Don't eat too much of it or it will make you sick. Don't visit your neighbor too often or you are out where you're welcome. Telling lies about someone is harmful as hitting him with an axe or wounding him with a sword or shooting him with a sharp arrow. Putting confidence in an unreliable man is like chewing with a sore mouth or trying to run on a broken foot. Being happy-go-lucky around a person whose heart is heavy is as bad as stealing his jacket in cold weather or rubbing salt in his wounds. Wow. If your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. This will make him feel ashamed of himself, and God will reward you. As surely as a wind from the north brings cold, just as surely a retort causes anger. It is better to live in the corner of an attic than in a beautiful home with a cranky, quarrelsome woman. Lord have mercy. Good news from far away is like cold water to the thirsty. If a godly man compromises with the wicked, it is like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. Just as it is harmful to eat too much honey, so also it is bad for men to think about all the honors they deserve. A man without self-control is as defenseless as a city without broken down walls. This is the word of the Lord.